Mission: Impossible. The Final Reckoning is a 2025 American action spy film directed by Christopher McQuarrie from a screenplay he co-wrote with Eric Yendresen. 7/8 It is the direct sequel to Mission: Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1, 2023, and the 8th installment in the Mission: Impossible film series. The film stars Tom Cruise in his final portrayal of Ethan Hunt 9 alongside an ensemble cast including Hayley Atwell, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Esai Morales, Pomkal Mentiev, Henry Czerny, and Angela Bassett. 10/11 In the film, Hunt and his IMF team continue their mission to prevent the entity, a rogue AI, from destroying all of humanity. In January 2019, Cruise announced that the 7th and 8th Mission: Impossible films would be shot back-to-back with McQuarrie co-writing and directing both films. Plans for the 8th film changed in February 2021, with returning and new cast and crew members being announced soon after, including Lorne Balfe, who composed the score for 2 other films in the series. Balfe was later replaced by Max Aruge and Alfie Godfrey. Principal photography began in March 2022 but was suspended in July 2023 due to the SAG-AFTRA strike. Production resumed in March 2024 and concluded in November, with filming locations including England, Malta, South Africa, and Norway. Originally subtitled Dead Reckoning Part 2, the film changed its subtitle in November 2024. With a $300 to $400 million budget, The Final Reckoning is one of the most expensive films ever made. The Final Reckoning had its world premiere in Tokyo on May 5, 2025, was screened out of competition at the 78th Cannes Film Festival on May 14, and was theatrically released in the United States on May 23 by Paramount Pictures. The film received positive reviews from critics and has grossed $598 million worldwide, becoming the 9th highest grossing film of 2025, while also having the largest opening weekend of the franchise. 12 It was the last film co-produced by Paramount and Skydance as separate entities before they merged on August 7, 2025. Plot: 2 months after retrieving the key to the source code for the malevolent artificial intelligence known as the Entity B, rogue IMF agent Ethan Hunt receives a message from U.S. President Erica Sloan. She informs Ethan that the entity continues to seize control of global nuclear systems, aided by undercover doomsday cultists. Ethan is ordered to surrender the key, but he refuses and continues pursuing Gabriel, the entity's former proxy. He and fellow IMF agent Benji Dunn first visit their ill IMF hacker Luther Stickle in his off-grid lab beneath London, where he has finished developing the poison pill malware that can target the entity. The team recruits Jasper Briggs's partner, Theo Degas, and Gabriel's former lieutenant, Paris, who tells them where Gabriel is. In London, Gabriel's men capture Ethan and IMF agent Grace. Gabriel forces Ethan to recover the Podkova module developed from the Rabbit's Foot D in the sunken Russian submarine Sevastopol, which would give him control over the entity. Ethan and Grace escape. Contacting the entity, Ethan is shown visions of a nuclear apocalypse. The entity says Luther will die and demands access to a digital bunker in South Africa in order to survive. Ethan tasks his team with getting the Sevastopol's coordinates and retrieving him after the dive. He races to save Luther, however, Gabriel steals the poison pill and traps Luther with a time bomb. Luther sacrifices himself to minimize the blast, and Ethan is brought to Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center. With 3 days until the entity takes over the remaining nuclear weapons control facilities and launches nuclear Armageddon, Ethan convinces Sloan to let him locate the Sevastopol, against CIA Director Eugene Kittredge's objections. Grace, Benji, Paris, and Degas travel to St. Matthew Island in the Bering Sea, home to a Cold War-era naval sonar array that detected the Sevastopol sinking. They meet former CIA analyst William Don Lowe, who was exiled to the island after Ethan's 1996 break-in at CIA headquarters, who coincidentally memorized the Sevastopol's coordinates. Captured by Russian special forces seeking the coordinates, Grace and Don Lowe's wife Tapiza escape by dog sled, and the others fight off the soldiers as Don Lowe transmits the coordinates to Ethan. Ethan joins the aircraft carrier USS George H.W. Bush in the North Pacific Ocean and later boards the submarine USS Ohio. After receiving the coordinates and barely surviving a doomsday assassin who had infiltrated the Ohio named Hager, Ethan uses an experimental diving suit to reach the Sevastopol and retrieve the Podkova, as the wreck slides down the continental shelf. Narrowly escaping without his diving suit, Ethan is revived from decompression sickness by Grace using a portable decompression chamber. Reunited with his team, Ethan plans to plug the poison pill into the Podkova, fooling the entity into entering a physical drive instead of the bunker mainframe. At the bunker, Gabriel ambushes the team with a timed nuclear device, demanding the Podkova. Kittredge interrupts, seeking control of the entity. During the gunfight, the bomb activates and Benji is shot. Gabriel flees with the poison pill, pursued by Ethan with the Podkova. Donlo, Tapiza, and Degas defuse the bomb. Paris, Grace, and Benji prepare the mainframe to trap the entity. Sloan avoids a preemptive nuclear strike, but the chairman of the Joint Chiefs is fatally wounded, protecting her from a doomsday assassin, allowing the entity time to take full control of the world's nuclear arsenal. Ethan chases Gabriel in a biplane, climbs onto his plane, breaks his arm, and retrieves the poison pill. Gabriel gets himself killed hitting the rudder while attempting to escape. Ethan finds another parachute, inserting the poison pill into the Podkova mid-air, allowing Grace to trap the entity just before nuclear launch. Ethan listens to a farewell message from Luther in the poison pill, which self-destructs afterwards. He gives the destroyed Podkova to Kittredge, and Briggs, revealed to be the son of Jim Phelps, makes peace with Ethan for exposing his father as a traitor. Reuniting in London, Grace gives Ethan the drive with the entity, and the IMF team part ways. Cast: Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt, an IMF agent and leader of a team of operatives. Hayley Atwell as Grace, a former thief turned IMF agent and Ethan's ally. 13. Ving Rhames as Luther Stickle, an IMF computer technician, one of Ethan's closest friends, and member of Ethan's team. Simon Pegg as Benji Dunn, an IMF technical field agent and a member of Ethan's team. Isai Morales as Gabriel, an assassin with ties to Ethan's past before the IMF, who previously acted as the entity's liaison. Pom Clementieff as Paris, a French assassin who was betrayed by Gabriel and became Ethan's ally to kill Gabriel. Henry Czerny as Eugene Kittredge, the former director of the IMF in the first film who now is the director of the CIA from Dead Reckoning. Angela Bassett as Erica Sloan, the former CIA director, now President of the United States. Bassett returns from Fallout. Greg Tarzan Davis as Theo Degas, a U.S. intelligence agent and Briggs' former partner who was assigned to track down Ethan and his team. He joins Ethan's team in this film. Holt McCallany as Serling Bernstein, the U.S. Secretary of Defense. Janet McTeer as Walters, the U.S. Secretary of State. Nick Offerman as General Sidney, a U.S. Army general and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Hannah Waddingham 1415 as Rear Admiral Neely, USN, the commander of Carrier Strike Group 10. 16. Trammell Tillman as Captain Jack Bledsoe 17 USN, the commanding officer of the rescue submarine USS Ohio 18. Shea Wiggum as Jasper Briggs / Jim Phelps Jr., a U.S. intelligence agent assigned to track down Ethan and his team. Son of Ethan's former team leader who went rogue, Jim Phelps. 1920. Charles Parnell as Richards, the DNI, and head of the NRO. Mark Gatiss as Angstrom, head of the NSA. Rolf Saxon as William Donlow, a CIA analyst who was last seen in the first film being transferred to Alaska. 21. Lucy Tulugurgic as Tapiza, Donlow's wife 22. Katie O'Brien 23 as Kodiak, a U.S. Navy diver on board the submarine. Stephen Oyung as Pills, a Navy diver on board the submarine. 24. Tomasz Paredes as Hager, a Navy diver on board the submarine and a doomsday cultist. Paul Bullion as Shirley, a Navy diver on board the submarine. Mariella Garriga as Marie, a woman from Ethan and Gabriel's past, seen in a brief flashback. 25. Pasha Delytnikov as Captain Koltsov. Tommy Earl Jenkins as Colonel Burdick, U.S. Army, General Sidney's executive assistant. Carrie Elwes as Denelin the Director of National Intelligence in Dead Reckoning, seen in a brief flashback. Sidney Cole Alexander as Lieutenant Commander Bennett. Additionally, John Voight, Michelle Monaghan, Rebecca Ferguson, Vanessa Kirby, Emilio Estevez, Ingeborg Adapkonowite, Anthony Hopkins, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Lawrence Fishburne, Jeremy Renner, Paula Patton, Maggie Q, Jean Reno, Dow Gray Scott, Michael Nyqvist, Emmanuel Baird, Lacey Dews, Carrie Russell, Kristen Scott Thomas, Henry Cavill, Vanessa Redgrave, and Alec Baldwin all appear in flashbacks as their respective characters: Jim Phelps, Julia Meade Hunt, Ilsa Faust, Alana the White Widow. Mitsopolis, Jack Harmon, Hannah Williams, Swanbeck, Owen Davian, Theodore Brassel, William Brandt, Jane Carter, Zhen Lei, Franz Krieger, Sean Ambrose, Dr. Kurt Cobalt Hendricks, Claire Phelps, Sabina Morrow, Lindsay Ferris, Sarah Davies, August John Lark Walker, Max Mitsopolis, and Alan Hunley uncredited via archival footage from the first 7 films, Hoffman and Nyqvist appearing posthumously. Rob Delaney and Indira Varma, also uncredited, appear as the heads of JSOC and the DIA, respectively, via archival audio footage from Dead Reckoning Part 1. Director Christopher McQuarrie also makes a small cameo appearance at the end of the film. Production: Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie, both pictured at the 2025 Cannes Film Festival. Development: on January 14, 2019, Tom Cruise announced that the 7th and 8th Mission: Impossible films would be shot back-to-back, with Christopher McQuarrie writing and directing both films for July 23, 2021, and August 5, 2022, releases. 26/27 However, in February 2021, Deadline Hollywood revealed that Paramount had decided to no longer move forward with that plan. 28. Casting. In September 2019, Hayley Atwell and Pom Klementieff joined the cast of the 8th installment. 29:30 in December, Simon Pegg confirmed his return for the film, while Shea Wiggum was also cast. 31:32 Nicholas Hoult joined the cast by January 2020, along with Henry Czerny, who reprised his role as Eugene Kittredge from Dead Reckoning Part 1 and the first film. 33:34 However, due to scheduling conflicts, Hoult was replaced by Esai Morales for both films. 35 Vanessa Kirby, who first appeared in Fallout, announced she was returning for both films. 36 but did not appear in Final Reckoning. 37 In July 2022, it was reported that Holt McCallany had joined the cast. 38 In August 2022, it was revealed Nick Offerman and Janet McTeer were also added to the cast. 39. In March 2023, McQuarrie announced Hannah Waddingham, Lucy Tulliagurgic, and Rolf Saxon's addition to the cast, the latter of whom reprises his role from the first film. 14:40 In March and April 2024, respectively, Katie O'Brien and Trammell Tillman joined the cast in then undisclosed roles. 23:17 In November 2024, it was revealed that Angela Bassett would reprise her role as CIA Director Erica Sloan. 41. Filming. In February 2021, Deadline Hollywood reported that the film would no longer be filmed back-to-back with Mission: Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1. 28 By November, McQuarrie was in the process of rewriting the film's script. 42 On March 23, 2022, The Hollywood Reporter reported the beginning of principal photography of the then untitled Mission: Impossible 8. 43 Filming took place in the UK at Long Cross Studios and the Lake District. Other locations included Malta, South Africa, and Norway. In December 2022, filming was finished in the UK. 44 The crew then moved to Apulia in Italy to continue filming aboard the aircraft carrier USS George H.W. Bush. 45 During the 2023 Writers Guild of America strike, production was thought to have been put on hold according to an interview with McQuarrie in the June 2023 issue of the Empire magazine. 46 However, this was later revealed to have been a misinterpretation of McQuarrie's statement, and continued production was only waiting for the promotion of Part 1 to complete. 47 Filming was officially suspended in July due to the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike. 48. The film returned to production in March 2024, though in May, it encountered a delay due to a submarine malfunction. 49 50 During filming in England, Cruise and Morales were observed performing stunts from an airborne biplane, with Cruise holding onto the wings of the open cockpit aircraft as it flew upside down, while the pilot wore a green screen suit so as to be digitally removed from the final shot. 51 In July 2024, Simon Pegg revealed filming had concluded for his part, though the cast and crew were maintaining radio silence. 52-53 By November 2024, production had concluded and the film was in post-production. The Hollywood Reporter reported that the budget had neared $400 million due to the production delays. 54. Post-production. Industrial Light and Magic returned from the seventh film to produce the visual effects, with Clear Angle Studios and Halon Entertainment as the additional vendors for LiDAR, cyber scanning, and provisualization. 55 56 57 In October 2023, Dead Reckoning Part 2 was removed as the film's subtitle 58 and the new subtitle was confirmed as The Final Reckoning in November 2024. 59. Music. Main article, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, soundtrack. Lorne Balfe was originally announced in May 2020 to be composing the film's score, after previously doing so for Mission Impossible, Fallout, 2018, and Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1, 2023, 60, but it was later announced in April 2025 that he would be replaced with Max Aruge and Alfie Godfrey. Aruge has previously provided additional music for Dead Reckoning and served as technical score assistant on Fallout. Both Aruge and Godfrey have contributed music to numerous projects scored by Balfe over the years. Cecile Tournezak was credited as the supervising music editor and score producer. 61 The full album was released on May 23, 2025. 62-63. Release. Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning had its world premiere in Tokyo on May 5, 2025. The film screened at the 2025 Cannes Film Festival on May 14, 2025, prior to its scheduled theatrical release on May 23, by Paramount Pictures. 64-65 It was previously set for release on August 5, 2022 66 but was delayed to November 4, 2022 67 July 7, 2023 68 June 28, 2024 69 and then to the current date in response to the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike, taking the original release date of the SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants. 70 Due to delays caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and the 2023 Hollywood labor disputes, the budget for the film reportedly increased to at least $400 million, placing it among the most expensive films ever made. 71 Based on typical industry expectations, the film may need to earn around $1 billion worldwide to recoup its production costs. 71 However, in addition to its box office, its performance on Paramount Plus is also expected to be a significant factor in evaluating its overall success. 71. Internationally, it was released theatrically in Australia, New Zealand, Philippines, India, and South Korea on May 17, 2025 72 before releasing in the United Kingdom on May 21. 73 The film was released in Dolby Cinema, ScreenX, RPX, 4DX, IMAX, and other premium formats. Home media. Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning was released on digital download on August 19, 2025, and will be released on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, Blu-ray and DVD on October 14, 2025. 7475. Reception. Box office. Mission: Impossible. The Final Reckoning has grossed $197.4 million in the United States and Canada, and $401.4 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $598.8 million. 16. In the United States and Canada, The Final Reckoning was released alongside Lilo and Stitch, and was initially projected to gross $80 to $110 million over the 4-day Memorial Day weekend. 76. Final Reckoning earned $24.8 million on its opening day, which included $8.3 million from Thursday night previews, setting a new opening day record for the franchise. The film debuted to $64 million over its standard 3-day weekend and reached $79 million across the 4-day Memorial Day weekend, placing second behind Lilo and Stitch. Despite not topping the box office on its opening weekend, a first for the franchise, not counting Mission: Impossible, Ghost Protocol's limited release in IMAX and other large-format theaters in its first 5 days where it finished third, it contributed to the biggest Memorial Day weekend in domestic box office history, with all films combining for a record-breaking $334.5 million. In its second weekend the film made $27.3 million, a drop of 57%, remaining in second ahead of Karate Kid: Legends. In its third weekend the film made $14.8 million, and it finished in third place behind Lilo and Stitch and Ballerina. 81. The Final Reckoning opened in 64 markets alongside the United States and Canada, earning $127 million on its opening weekend, and with its biggest numbers coming from South Korea, $12.7 million, Japan, $11 million, and the United Kingdom, $10.7 million. The $31 million earned from IMAX screenings was the biggest of the franchise. 82. It opened in China on June 2nd, topping the box office with a $25.6 million gross, with $4.9 million from IMAX screenings. It is also IMAX's biggest opening weekend for a Hollywood film in China in 2025. 83. Critical response. Reviews of The Final Reckoning were generally positive but subdued compared to previous installments, with several critics praising the action scenes in the film, and expressing displeasure in the first hour, which they felt was dragged down by exposition. 8. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, 80% of 417 critics' reviews are positive. The website's consensus reads, "Gargantuan in action, runtime, and scope, The Final Reckoning is a sentimental send-off for Ethan Hunt that accomplishes its mission with a characteristic flair for the impossible." 88. Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 67 out of 100, based on 57 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. 89 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of A, on an A+ to F scale, while those surveyed by PostTrack gave it an 89% overall positive score, with 79% saying they would definitely recommend the film. 90. Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian rated the film 5 stars out of 5, calling it a wildly silly, wildly entertaining adventure which periodically gives us a greatest hits flashback montage of the other 7 films. 91. In another positive review, Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune said the film was a satisfying capper to an 8-film franchise and praised the return of Rolf Saxon. "He may not hang off a biplane, but the year's unlikeliest franchise MVP makes Final Reckoning something better than superhuman, human." 92. Robbie Collin of the Daily Telegraph said, "Even by the series' own now well-established standards, this widely presumed last entry in Tom Cruise's Mission: Impossible franchise is an awe-inspiringly bananas piece of work." 93. Ann Hornaday of the Washington Post gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, saying it stays true to the franchise's core tenets, even if it too often feels baggy and redundant, and particularly praised the callback from the first film that strikes a particularly winning chord of humor and sentimentality. 94. Brian Tallarico of RoachRabbit.com was more critical of the film, calling its first hour unwieldy and truly clunky and the worst segment in the entire franchise, although he noted that the action sequences during the film's peaks were enough to ignore everything wrong with the movie up to that point. 95. Carrie Darling of the Houston Chronicle described the film as a disappointing installment that felt bloated and tired, despite the dizzying, high-flying stunt work at the film's climax. He also criticized its runtime, stating just shy of 3 hours, the longest in the series, it takes a heck of a long time to achieve liftoff. 96. Accolades. Tom Cruise set a Guinness World Record for most burning parachute jumps by an individual while filming one of the film's final stunts, where Cruise burned his first parachute doused in flammable liquid before opening his second parachute a total of 16 times. An article about the stunt was published on the Guinness World Record website on June 5, 2025. 97. At the 5th Critics' Choice Super Awards, the film won Best Action Movie and Best Actor in an Action Movie, Cruise. 98. Future. In June 2023, Macquarie told Fandango that both parts of Dead Reckoning would not necessarily end the series, and they were developing ideas for future installments. 99. In July 2023, during promotion for Dead Reckoning, Cruise expressed interest in reprising his role as Hunt in future films, citing Harrison Ford's portrayal of Indiana Jones over 40 years from Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981, to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, 2023. 100. On November 12, 2024, Jeff Snyder reported Cruise sought to cast Glenn Powell, one of his co-stars in Top Gun: Maverick, 2022, to replace him as the new lead for potential future Mission Impossible films. Powell denied this during an appearance on The Pat McAfee Show. 101. 102. In May 2025, during the New York premiere for The Final Reckoning, Cruise confirmed that the film would be his final film, playing Ethan Hunt, in the series, stating, "The film is the final. It's not called Final for nothing." Thomas Cruise Maypother IV, born July 3, 1962, is an American actor and film producer. Regarded as a Hollywood icon 1-2-3, he has received various accolades, including an honorary Palme d'Or and 3 Golden Globe Awards, in addition to nominations for 4 Academy Awards. As of 2025, his films have grossed over $13.3 billion worldwide, placing him among the highest-grossing actors of all time. 5. One of Hollywood's most bankable stars, he is consistently one of the world's highest-paid actors. 6. Cruise began acting in the early 1980s and made his breakthrough with leading roles in Risky Business, 1983, and Top Gun, 1986, the latter earning him a reputation as a sex symbol. 7. Critical acclaim came with his roles in the dramas The Color of Money, 1986, Rain Man, 1988, and Born on the 4th of July, 1989. For his portrayal of Ron Kovic in the latter, he won a Golden Globe Award and received a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actor. As a leading Hollywood star in the 1990s, he starred in commercially successful films, including the drama A Few Good Men, 1992, the thriller The Firm, 1993, the horror film Interview with the Vampire, 1994, and the sports comedy drama Jerry Maguire, 1996. For the latter, he won a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor and his second nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actor. Cruise's performance in the drama Magnolia, 1999, earned him another Golden Globe Award and a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Cruise subsequently established himself as a star of science fiction and action films, often performing his own risky stunts. He played fictional agent Ethan Hunt in 8 Mission Impossible films, beginning with Mission Impossible, 1996, and ending with Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, 2025. 8 His other films in the genre include Vanilla Sky, 2001, Minority Report, 2002, The Last Samurai, 2003, Collateral, 2004, War of the Worlds, 2005, Night and Day, 2010, Jack Reacher, 2012, Oblivion, 2013, Edge of Tomorrow, 2014, and Top Gun, Maverick, 2022. Cruise holds the Guinness World Record for the most consecutive $100 million grossing movies, a feat achieved with 7 films released between 2011 and 2018. 9 In December 2024, he was awarded the U.S. Navy's highest civilian honor, the Distinguished Public Service Award, in recognition of his outstanding contributions to the military, with his screen roles. 10 In March 2025, he was named the recipient of the British Film Institute Fellowship, the BFI's highest honor, for his contributions to cinema. 11 Forbes ranked him as the world's most powerful celebrity in 2006. 12 He was named People's Sexiest Man Alive in 1913 and received the top honor of Most Beautiful People in 1997. 14 Outside his film career, Cruise has been an outspoken advocate for the Church of Scientology, which has resulted in controversy and scrutiny of his involvement in the organization. An aviation enthusiast, he has held a pilot certificate since 1994. 15. Early life. Cruise was born on July 3, 1962, in Syracuse, New York. 16 To electrical engineer Thomas Cruise Maypother III, 1934 to 1984, and special education teacher Mary Lee, née Pfeiffer, 1936 to 2017. 17 His parents were both from Louisville, Kentucky. 18 And had English, German, and Irish ancestry. 1920 Cruise has 3 sisters named Leanne, Marion, and Cass. One of his cousins, William Maypother, is also an actor who has appeared alongside Cruise in 5 films. 21. Cruise grew up in near poverty and had a Catholic upbringing. He later described his father as a merchant of chaos. 22 A bully, and a coward who beat his children. He elaborated, "My father was the kind of person where, if something goes wrong, they kick you. It was a great lesson in my life how he'd lull you in, make you feel safe, and then, bang. For me, it was like, there's something wrong with this guy. Don't trust him. Be careful around him." 22 Cruise's father died of cancer in 1984. 23. In total, Cruise attended 15 schools in 14 years. 24 Cruise spent part of his childhood in Canada, when his father took a job as a defense consultant with the Canadian Armed Forces. His family moved in late 1971 to Beacon Hill, Ottawa. 25 He attended the new Robert Hopkins Public School for his 4th and 5th grade education. 25-26 He first became involved in drama in 4th grade, under drama teacher George Steinberg. He and 6 other boys put on an improvised play to music called IT at the Carleton Elementary School Drama Festival. 25 Drama organizer Val Wright was in the audience and later said that the movement and improvisation were excellent, a classic ensemble piece. 25. In 6th grade, Cruise went to Henry Monroe Middle School in Ottawa. That year, his mother left his father, taking Cruise and his sisters back to the United States. 25 In 1978 she married Jack South. 27 Cruise briefly took a Catholic Church scholarship and attended St. Francis Seminary in Cincinnati. He aspired to become a priest in the Franciscan order but left after a year. Priests at the seminary have said Cruise chose to leave the school when his family relocated again. However, a former classmate said that they were both asked to leave after getting caught taking liquor. 28-29, 24-26 In his senior year of high school, he played football for the varsity team as a linebacker, but was cut from the squad after getting caught drinking beer before a game. 29-47 He went on to star in the school's production of Guys and Dolls. 30 In 1980, He graduated from Glen Ridge High School in Glen Ridge, New Jersey. 31. Acting career. 1980s, breakthrough and stardom. Cruise in 1985 at a reception hosted by First Lady Nancy Reagan at the White House. At age 18, 32, with the blessing of his mother and stepfather, Cruise moved to New York City to pursue an acting career. 30. After working as a busboy in New York, he went to Los Angeles to try out for television roles. He signed with CAA and began acting in films. 32. He made his film debut in a bit part in the 1981 film Endless Love, followed by a major supporting role as a crazed military academy student in Taps later that year. Cruise was originally supposed to appear as a background actor, but his role was expanded after impressing director Harold Becker. 33. He next won the role of Steve Randall in Francis Ford Coppola's 1983 cinematic adaptation of S.E. Hinton's novel, The Outsiders, and shared the screen with an ensemble cast that included Matt Dillon, Emilio Estevez, Leif Garrett, C. Thomas Howell, Diane Lane, Rob Lowe, Ralph Macchio, and Patrick Swayze. 34. That same year he appeared in All the Right Moves and Risky Business, which has been described as a Generation X classic, and a career maker for Tom Cruise. 35. He also played the male lead in the Ridley Scott film Legend, released in 1985. 36. By 1980's IXS Top Gun, his status as a superstar had been cemented. 37. Cruise followed up Top Gun with Martin Scorsese's The Color of Money, 1986, which came out the same year, and which paired him with Paul Newman. Their chemistry won praise among critics, with the Washington Post writing, "One of the subtle achievements of both Cruise's and Newman's performances is that you feel that both of them are genuinely top-notch pool hustlers." 38. In 1988, Cruise starred in Cocktail, a film that was a box office success but failed with critics. His performance earned him a nomination for the Razzie Award for Worst Actor. Later that year he starred with Dustin Hoffman in Barry Levinson's Rain Man, which won the Academy Award for Best Picture. 39. Tom Cruise at the 61st Academy Awards in 1989. In 1989, Cruise portrayed real-life paralyzed Vietnam War veteran Ron Kovic in Oliver Stone's war epic Born on the 4th of July. Film critic Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times wrote, "Nothing Cruise has done will prepare you for what he does in Born on the 4th of July. His performance is so good that the movie lives through it." Stone is able to make his statement with Cruise's face and voice and doesn't need to put everything into the dialogue. 40. The performance earned him a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor, Motion Picture Drama, the Chicago Film Critics Association Award for Best Actor, the People's Choice Award for Favorite Motion Picture Actor, a nomination for BAFTA Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role, and Cruise's first Best Actor Academy Award nomination. 41. 1990s, dramatic roles. Cruise's next films were Days of Thunder, 1990, and Far and Away, 1992, both of which co-starred then-wife Nicole Kidman as his love interest, followed by the legal thriller The Firm, which was a critical and commercial success. In 1994, Cruise starred along with Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas, and Christian Slater in Neil Jordan's Interview with the Vampire, a gothic drama/horror film that was based on Anne Rice's best-selling novel. The film was well received, although Rice was initially quite outspoken in her criticism of Cruise having been cast in the film, as Julian Sands was her first choice. Upon seeing the film, however, she paid $7,740, equivalent to $16,420 in 2024, for a two-page ad in Daily Variety praising his performance and apologizing for her previous doubts about him. 42. In 1996, Cruise starred as super spy Ethan Hunt in the reboot of Mission Impossible, which he also produced. 43. The film was directed by Brian De Palma and was a box office success. Film critic Stephen Holden of the New York Times praised Cruise's performance, declaring Tom Cruise has found the perfect superhero character on which to graft his breathlessly gung-ho screen personality. 44. In the same year, Cruise took on the title role in Cameron Crowe's sports drama Jerry Maguire playing a sports agent in search of love. The film was a massive financial success, grossing more than $273 million worldwide against its $50 million budget. 45. In 1999, Cruise co-starred with Kidman in Stanley Kubrick's erotic and psychological drama film Eyes Wide Shut. Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian praised both Cruise and Kidman on their performances, writing, "Cruise in particular lays himself open in that fiercely committed way that he tries everything as an actor." 46. That same year he took a rare supporting role, as a motivational speaker, Frank T.J. Mackey, in Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia, 1999. Rolling Stone film critic Peter Travers heaped praise on Cruise, writing, "Cruise is a revelation, fully deserving of the shower of superlatives coming his way. Cruise seethes with the chaotic energy of a wounded animal, he's devastating." 47. For his performance he received another Golden Globe and nomination for an Academy Award. 48. 2000s, established career. Cruise at the 2007 London Film Festival for the premiere of Lions for Lambs. In 2000, Cruise returned as Ethan Hunt in the second installment of the Mission Impossible films, Mission Impossible 2. The film was helmed by Hong Kong director John Woo and branded with his gun fu style. It continued the series' success at the box office, taking in $547 million worldwide. 49. Unlike its predecessor, it was the highest-grossing film of the year. 50. But had a mixed critical reception. 51. Cruise received an MTV Movie Award for Best Male Performance for the film. 52. His next 5 films were major critical and commercial successes. 53-54. The following year, Cruise starred in the romantic thriller Vanilla Sky, 2001, with Cameron Diaz and Penelope Cruz. In 2002, Cruise starred in the dystopian science fiction action film Minority Report, which was directed by Steven Spielberg and based on the short story by Philip K. Dick. It has since been included in lists of the greatest science fiction films of all time. 55, 56, 57. In 2003, he starred in Edward Zwick's period action drama The Last Samurai, for which he received a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor. 58. In 2004, Cruise received critical acclaim for his performance as Vincent in Collateral. The critical consensus states that, driven by director Michael Mann's trademark visuals and a lean, villainous performance from Tom Cruise, Collateral is a stylish and compelling noir thriller. 59. In 2005, Cruise worked again with Steven Spielberg in War of the Worlds, a loose adaptation of the H.G. Wells novel of the same name, which became the 4th highest-grossing film of the year with $591.4 million worldwide. 60. Also in 2005, he was a nominee for the People's Choice Award for Favorite Male Movie Star 61 and the winner of the MTV Generation Award. 62. Cruise was nominated for 7 Saturn Awards between 2002 and 2009, winning once. 9 of the 10 films he starred in during the decade made over $100 million at the box office. 53. In 2006, he returned to his role as Ethan Hunt in the 3rd installment of the Mission Impossible film series, Mission Impossible 3. The film was more positively received by critics than the previous films in the series and grossed nearly $400 million at the box office. 63. In 2007, Cruise took a rare supporting role for the second time in Lions for Lambs, which was a commercial disappointment. This was followed by an unrecognizable appearance as Leigh Grossman in the 2008 comedy Tropic Thunder with Ben Stiller, Jack Black, and Robert Downey Jr. This performance earned Cruise a Golden Globe nomination. 58. Cruise played the central role in the historical thriller Valkyrie, released on December 25, 2008, to box office success. 64. 2010s, action star. In March 2010, Cruise completed filming the action comedy Night and Day, in which he re-teamed with former co-star Cameron Diaz, The film was released on June 23, 2010. 65 On February 9, 2010, Cruise confirmed that he would star in Mission: Impossible – Ghost Protocol, the fourth installment in the Mission: Impossible series. The film was released in December 2011. 66 to high critical acclaim, 67 and box office success. 68 Unadjusted for ticket price inflation, it was Cruise's biggest commercial success to that date. 69. Cruise at the 2013 San Diego Comic-Con. On May 6, 2011, Cruise was awarded a humanitarian award from the Simon Wiesenthal Center and its Museum of Tolerance for his work as a dedicated philanthropist. 70 In mid-2011, Cruise started shooting the movie Rock of Ages, 2012, in which he played the fictional character Stacy Jacks. The film was released in June 2012 and was a rare box office misstep for Cruise. 71 Cruise, however, received positive reviews for his performance, with Variety's film critic Justin Chang writing, "Channeling the likes of Axl Rose and Keith Richards with his tattoos, heavy furs and even heavier eyeshadow, Cruise clearly relishes the opportunity to play against type even as he sends up his world's biggest movie star identity, displaying a cock of the rock strut that viewers haven't seen since his turn in Magnolia." 72. Cruise starred as Jack Reacher in the film adaptation of British author Lee Child's 2005 novel One Shot. The film was released on December 21, 2012. 73 It met with positive reviews from critics and was a box office success, grossing $217 million worldwide. 74 In 2013, he starred in the science fiction film Oblivion, based on director Joseph Kosinski's graphic novel of the same name. The film met with mixed reviews and grossed $286 million worldwide. It also starred Morgan Freeman and Olga Kurylenko. 77 In 2014, Cruise starred in the science fiction action film Edge of Tomorrow, which received positive reviews. 78 and grossed over $370 million. 79. In 2015, Cruise returned as Ethan Hunt in the fifth installment of the Mission: Impossible series, Mission: Impossible – Rogue Nation, which he also produced. 80 returning cast members included Simon Pegg as Benji and Jeremy Renner as William Brandt, with Christopher McQuarrie as director. The film earned high critical acclaim. 81 and was a commercial success. 82 Cruise starred in the 2017 reboot of Boris Karloff's 1932 horror movie The Mummy. 83 The new film, also titled The Mummy, received negative reviews and disappointed at the box office, though still grossed over $400 million. 85 In 2018, Cruise again reprised Ethan Hunt, in the sixth film in his franchise, Mission: Impossible – Fallout. The film was more positively received by critics than the previous films in the series and grossed over $791 million at the box office. 87 Unadjusted for ticket price inflation, it was Cruise's biggest commercial success to date. 88. 2020's franchise films. In May 2020, it was reported that Cruise would be starring in and producing a movie shot in outer space. 89 Doug Liman would be directing, writing, and co-producing. Both will fly to the International Space Station as part of a future Axiom space mission in a SpaceX Dragon 2 spacecraft. 90 In May 2021, Cruise protested against the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, HFPA, by returning all three of his Golden Globe Awards in light of controversy surrounding the HFPA 91, particularly its lack of diversity, specifically no black members, and ethical questions related to financial benefits to some of its members. 92. Cruise at the 2023 Sydney premiere of Mission: Impossible – Dead Reckoning Part 1. In 2022, Cruise reprised his role as Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell in Top Gun: Maverick, a film which he also produced. The film premiered at the Cannes Film Festival, where Cruise earned an honorary Palme d'Or. 93 The film was released to widespread critical praise, with many reviewers deeming it superior to its predecessor. 94. The film broke several box office records upon its release, earning over $1 billion, becoming the highest-grossing film of his career. 95. Cruise earned $100 million for the film, when combining ticket sales, his salary, and his cut of home entertainment rentals and streaming revenues. 96. Cruise reprised his role as Ethan Hunt in Mission: Impossible – Dead Reckoning Part 1, which was released in theaters on July 12, 2023. The film received critical acclaim, but was a box office disappointment due to the box office and cultural phenomenon dubbed Barbenheimer, which was the same-day release of Christopher Nolan's historical epic film Oppenheimer and Greta Gerwig's fantasy comedy Barbie. 97. Peter DeBrugge of Variety praised Dead Reckoning for its performances, action sequences, and a satisfying ending, writing, "This outing may be one half of a two-part finale, but it gives audiences enough closure to stand on its own." 98. In 2024, he appeared in the Paris 2024 Olympics closing ceremony to promote Los Angeles 2028 Summer Olympics, by jumping from the roof of the Stade de France Stadium in Paris. He took the flag from Mayor Karen Bass and athlete Simone Biles. 99. Cruise reprised the role of Ethan Hunt in the second part, Mission: Impossible – The Final Reckoning, released in May 2025. Cruise also declared it would be the last film in which he would portray Ethan Hunt. 101. He will also star in an untitled film directed by Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu, which will be his first film at Warner Brothers Pictures in 12 years. 102. 103. Production. Cruise partnered with his former talent agent Paula Wagner to form Cruise/Wagner Productions in 1993. 104. And the company has since co-produced several of Cruise's films, the first being Mission: Impossible in 1996, which was also Cruise's first project as a producer. In addition, Cruise has produced films in which he does not appear in, namely The Others, Shattered Glass, Elizabethtown, Narc, Ask the Dust, and Without Limits. 105. Cruise is noted as having negotiated some of the most lucrative film deals in Hollywood and was described in 2005 by Hollywood economist Edward J. Epstein as one of the most powerful and richest forces in Hollywood. Epstein argues that Cruise is one of the few producers, the others being George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, and Jerry Bruckheimer, who are regarded as able to guarantee the success of a billion-dollar film franchise. Epstein also contends that the public obsession with Cruise's tabloid controversies obscures full appreciation of Cruise's exceptional commercial prowess. 106. Break with Paramount. Cruise at the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con. On August 22, 2006, Paramount Pictures announced it was ending its 14-year relationship with Cruise. In the Wall Street Journal, chairman of Viacom, Paramount's parent company, Sumner Redstone cited the economic damage to Cruise's value as an actor and producer from his controversial public behavior and views. 107. 108. Cruise/Wagner Productions responded that Paramount's announcement was a face-saving move after the production company had successfully sought alternative financing from private equity firms. 109. Industry analysts such as Edward J. Epstein commented that the real reason for the split was most likely Paramount's discontent over Cruise/Wagner's exceptionally large share of DVD sales from the Mission: Impossible franchise. 110. 111. Management of United Artists. In November 2006, Cruise and Paula Wagner announced that they had taken over the film studio United Artists, UA. 104. Cruise acted as a producer and starred in films for UA, while Wagner served as UA's chief executive. Production began in 2007 of Valkyrie, a thriller based on the July 20, 1944, assassination attempt against Adolf Hitler. The film was acquired in March 2007 by UA. On March 21, 2007, Cruise signed to play Klaus von Stauffenberg, the protagonist. This project marked the second production to be greenlight since Cruise and Wagner took control of UA. The first was its inaugural film, Lions for Lambs, directed by Robert Redford and starring Redford, Meryl Streep, and Cruise. In August 2008, Wagner stepped down from her position at UA. She retained her stake in UA, which combined with Cruise's share amounted to 30% of the studio. 112. Return to Paramount. Cruise began working with Paramount again as a producer and star with Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, without Wagner, which was a critical and commercial success. He and Wagner would collaborate for the final time on the modestly successful Jack Reacher series, also for Paramount. 113. Move to Warner Brothers. Discovery. In January 2024, it was announced that his production company was forming a new strategic partnership with Warner Brothers Discovery to develop and produce original and franchise films. 114-115. Acting credits and accolades. See also, Tom Cruise filmography and list of awards and nominations received by Tom Cruise. Cruise's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Cruise's handprints in Leicester Square, London. In 2006, Premiere ranked Cruise as Hollywood's most powerful actor 116 as Cruise came in at number 13 on the magazine's 2006 Power list, being the highest ranked actor. 117 the same year, Forbes magazine ranked him as the world's most powerful celebrity. 12 The founder of CinemaScore in 2016 cited Cruise and Leonardo DiCaprio as the two stars. It doesn't matter how bad the film is, they can pull the box office up. 118-119. October 10, 2006, was declared Tom Cruise Day in Japan. The Japan Memorial Day Association said that he was awarded with a special day because of his love for and close association with Japan. 120. While reviewing Days of Thunder, co-written Cruise, film critic Roger Ebert noted the similarities between several of Cruise's 1980s films and nicknamed the formula the Tom Cruise picture. 121 Ebert listed 9 key ingredients that make up the Tom Cruise picture: the Cruise character, the mentor, the superior woman, the craft he must hone, the arena it takes place in, the arcana or knowledge he must learn, the trail or journey, the proto-enemy, and the eventual enemy of the character. Some of Cruise's later films like A Few Good Men and The Last Samurai can also be considered to be part of this formula. Widescreenings compares 2 of these Cruise characters in an article on the film A Few Good Men. Screenwriter Aaron Sorkin interestingly takes the opposite approach of Top Gun, where Cruise also starred as the protagonist. In Top Gun, Cruise plays Mitchell, who is a hotshot military underachiever who makes mistakes because he is trying to outperform his late father. Where Maverick Mitchell needs to rein in the discipline, Daniel Coffey needs to let it go, finally see what he can do. 122. Cruise is an aerobatic pilot and was inducted as part of the Living Legends of Aviation in 2010, receiving the Aviation Inspiration and Patriotism Award from the Kitty Hawk Air Academy. In addition to other aircraft, Cruise owns a P-51 Mustang. 123. Personal life. Marriages and relationships. Cruise splits his time between homes in Beverly Hills, California, Clearwater, Florida 124 and the south of England, where he has lived in various places such as central London, Dulwich 125 East Grinstead 126 and Biggin Hill. 127 In the early to mid-1980s, Cruise had relationships with Melissa Gilbert 128 Rebecca De Mornay 129 Patty Sylvain 130 and Cher. 131. Cruise and Mimi Rogers at the 1989 Oscars. Cruise married actress Mimi Rogers on May 9, 1987. 132 They divorced on February 4, 1990. Rogers had grown up in Scientology and was one of its auditors. 133 They met when Cruise became one of her clients. 134 In a 1993 Playboy interview, Rogers discussed her split from Cruise and said that he had been considering becoming a monk, which affected their intimacy. Rogers later retracted the comments and claimed she had been misinterpreted. 135 136 According to a friend of Rogers, Tom, his agents, and certain studios were furious about what Mimi said in Playboy. She was told in no uncertain terms that her career would be over unless she put things right. 135. Rogers received a $4 million divorce settlement. 135. Cruise met his second wife, actress Nicole Kidman, on the set of their film Days of Thunder, 1990. The couple married on December 24, 1990. They adopted 2 children, Isabella Jane, born 1992, and Connor Anthony, born 1995. On February 5, 2001, the couple's spokesperson announced their separation. 137 Cruise filed for divorce 2 days later, and their marriage was dissolved later that year, with Cruise citing irreconcilable differences. 138 Kidman stated that their marriage failed because at the time, she was a child who needed to grow up. 139. According to former church spokesperson and board member Mike Rinder, the Church of Scientology used various means to push the couple to break up, including pressuring Cruise into more auditing and tapping Kidman's phone. 140 In a 2007 interview with Marie Claire, Kidman noted the incorrect reporting of a miscarriage early in her marriage. It was wrongly reported as miscarriage by everyone who picked up the story. So it's huge news, and it didn't happen. I had a miscarriage at the end of my marriage, but I had an ectopic pregnancy at the beginning of my marriage. 141. Cruise was next romantically linked with Penelope Cruz, his co-star in Vanilla Sky, 2001. Their 3-year relationship ended in 2004. 142 An article in the October 2012 issue of Vanity Fair stated that several sources have said that after the breakup with Cruise, Scientologist leaders launched a secret project to find Cruise a new girlfriend. According to those sources, a series of auditions of Scientologist actresses resulted in a short-lived relationship with Iranian-British actress Nazanin Banayadai, who subsequently left Scientology. 143 Scientology and Cruise's lawyers issued strongly worded denials and threatened to sue, accusing Vanity Fair of shoddy journalism and religious bigotry. 144 Journalist Roger Friedman later reported that he received an email from director and ex-Scientologist Paul Haggis confirming the story. 145 146. Cruise with his then-wife Katie Holmes in May 2009. In April 2005, Cruise began dating actress Katie Holmes. On April 27 that year, Cruise and Holmes, dubbed Tomcat by the media, made their first public appearance together in Rome. 147 A month later, Cruise publicly declared his love for Holmes on the Oprah Winfrey Show. He jumped on Winfrey's yellow couch and stood there to make the announcement. On October 6, 2005, Cruise and Holmes announced they were expecting a child. 148 In April 2006, their daughter Suri was born. 149. On November 18, Holmes and Cruise were married at the 15th century Castle Castello Orsini Odescalchi in Bracciano, in a Scientologist ceremony attended by many Hollywood stars. 151 Their publicists said the couple had officialized their marriage in Los Angeles the day before the Italian ceremony. 152 There has been widespread speculation that their marriage was arranged by Church of Scientology. 153 154 David Miscavige, the head of Scientology, served as Cruise's best man. 155 On June 29, 2012, Holmes filed for divorce from Cruise. 156 157 On July 9, the couple signed a divorce settlement worked out by their lawyers. 158 New York law requires all divorce documents remain sealed, so the exact terms of the settlement are not publicly available. 159 Cruz stated that ex-wife Katie Holmes divorced him in part to protect the couple's daughter Suri from Scientology and that Suri is no longer a practicing member of the organization. 160. Litigation. In 1998, Cruz successfully sued the Daily Express, a British tabloid which alleged that his marriage to Kidman was a sham designed to cover up his homosexuality. 161 In May 2001, Cruz filed a lawsuit against gay porn actor Chad Slater. Slater had told the Celebrity magazine Actastar that he had been involved in an affair with Cruz. This claim was strongly denied by Cruz. 162 And Slater was ordered to pay $10 million to Cruz in damages after Slater declared he could not afford to defend himself against the suit and would therefore default. Cruz requested a default judgment, and in January 2003, a Los Angeles judge decided against Slater after he admitted that his claims were false. 163 164. Cruz also sued Bold magazine publisher Michael Davis for $100 million, because Davis had alleged that he had video that would prove Cruz was gay. The suit was dropped in exchange for a public statement by Davis that the video was not of Cruz, and that Cruz was heterosexual. 165 In 2006, Cruz sued cybersquatter Jeff Puga to obtain control of the TomCruise.com domain name. When owned by Puga, the domain redirected to information about Cruz on Celebrity1000.com. The decision to turn TomCruise.com over to Cruz was handed down by the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, on July 5, 2006. 166. In 2009, magazine editor Michael Davis Pier 167 filed a suit charging that his phone had been wiretapped at Cruz's behest. That suit was dismissed by a Central Civil West Court judge in Los Angeles on the grounds that the statute of limitations had expired on Sapir's claim. 168 169 In October 2012, Cruz filed a lawsuit against In Touch and Life and Style magazines for defamation after they claimed Cruz had abandoned his 6-year-old daughter. 170 During deposition, Cruz admitted that he didn't see his daughter for 110 days. The suit was settled the following year. 171. Scientology advocacy. Cruz was converted to Scientology by his first wife, Mimi Rogers, in 1986 and became an outspoken advocate for Church of Scientology in the 2000s. His involvement in the organization was leaked by the tabloid Star in 1990, and he publicly announced he followed Scientology in a 1992 interview with Barbara Walters. Cruz has said that Scientology, through its teaching method study technology, helped him overcome his dyslexia. 172 173 Cruz has been a close friend of Scientology leader David Miscavige since the 1980s. 174 175. Several years after Cruz started studying Scientology, the organization's leaders promised to share some Scientology secrets with him. 176 including information about the extraterrestrial ruler Xenu. According to Janet Reitman's book Inside Scientology, The Story of America's Most Secretive Religion, 2011, Cruz freaked out and took a step back from the church to work on the film Eyes Wide Shut. 176 In 1999, Marty Rathbun was sent by David Miscavige to convince Cruz to return to the church and continue his studies. 176 Cruz later sparked controversy in the 2000s with his efforts to promote Scientology. 176. In the aftermath of 9/11, Cruz co-founded and raised donations for Downtown Medical to offer New York City rescue workers detoxification therapy, drawing criticism from medical professionals and firefighters. 177 178 In late 2004, David Miscavige created the Scientology Freedom Medal of Valor and awarded it to Cruz for this work. 179 Former Scientologist Paul Haggis has claimed that Cruz attempted to convert several celebrities to Scientology, including James Packer, Victoria and David Beckham, Jada Pinkett, Will Smith, and Steven Spielberg. 175 Since 2008, Cruise has restricted interviewers from asking him about Scientology. 180. Political lobbying. As well as promoting various programs to introduce people to Scientology, Cruise campaigned for Scientology to be recognized as a religion in Europe. In 2005, the Council of Paris revealed that Cruise had lobbied French Interior Minister Nicolas Sarkozy and Senate President Jean-Claude Gaudin. They described Cruise as a militant spokesman for Scientology and barred any further dealings with him. 182. Politics. In 2025, Cruise was selected by President Donald Trump for the Kennedy Center honors, but he declined it. 183. Controversies. Criticism of psychiatry. See also, anti-psychiatry. In January 2004, Cruise said, "I think psychiatry should be outlawed." 184. In 2005, he criticized actress Brooke Shields for using the drug Paxil, paroxetine, an antidepressant which she used to recover from postpartum depression after the birth of her first daughter in 2003. Cruise asserted that there is no such thing as a chemical imbalance and that psychiatry is a form of pseudoscience. In response, Shields argued that Cruise should stick to saving the world from aliens and let women who are experiencing postpartum depression decide what treatment options are best for them. 185. This led to a heated argument between Cruise and Matt Lauer on NBC's Today on June 24, 2005. 186. 187. Medical authorities view Cruise's comments as furthering the social stigma of mental illness. 188. From The Lancet, he may be right that psychotropic drugs are overused, sometimes misused, and that lifestyle changes, and exercise for depression, can be helpful. But he is wrong, as a celebrity, to add to the burden of those with a mental illness, who often fear seeking or continuing treatment because of the stigma still attached to their condition. 188. Shields called Cruise's comments a disservice to mothers everywhere. 189. In late August 2006, Cruise apologized in person to Shields for his comments. 190. Scientology is well known for its opposition to mainstream psychiatry and psychoactive drugs that are routinely prescribed for treatment. 179. It was reported that Cruise's anti-psychiatry actions led to a rift with director Steven Spielberg. 191. Spielberg had reportedly mentioned in Cruise's presence the name of a doctor friend who prescribed psychiatric medication. Shortly thereafter, the doctor's office was picketed by Scientologists, reportedly angering Spielberg. 192. YouTube video removal. Main article, Project Chronology Tom Cruise video. On January 15, 2008, a video produced by Church of Scientology featuring an interview with Cruise was posted on YouTube by the anonymous linked group Project Chronology, showing Cruise discussing what being a Scientologist means to him. 193. 194. Church of Scientology said the video had been pirated and edited, and was taken from a 3-hour video produced for members of Scientology. 194. 195. YouTube removed the Cruise video from their site under threat of litigation. 196. It was subsequently reinstated on the site, and as of June 2020, the video has achieved over 15 million views. 197. Purported influence. In March 2004, Cruise's publicist of 14 years, Pat Kingsley, resigned. Cruise's next publicist was Leanne DeVette, his sister, who was herself a Scientologist. She served in that role until November 2005. 198. DeVette was replaced with Paul Block from the publicity firm Rogers & Cowan. 199. Such restructuring was seen as a move to curtail publicity of his views on Scientology, as well as the controversy surrounding his relationship with Katie Holmes. 200. Lawrence Wright's 2013 book Going Clear, Scientology and the Prison of Belief, and Alex Gibney's 2015 documentary adaptation of the book cast a spotlight on Cruz's role in Scientology. The book and the film both state that the Scientology organization groomed romantic partners for Cruz, and that Cruz used Sea Org and Rehabilitation Project force workers as a source of free labor. 175-201 in the film, Cruz's former auditor Marty Rathbun says that Cruz's then-wife Nicole Kidman was wiretapped on Cruz's suggestion, which Cruz's lawyer denies. 202-203 Cruz's ex-girlfriend Nazanin Benaidi later compared the Scientology organization's auditioning of women to date Cruz and experiences with him to white slavery. Hayley Elizabeth Atwell, born April 5, 1982, is an English and American actress. After appearing in various West End productions, Atwell gained popularity for her roles in period dramas, appearing in the films Brideshead Revisited, 2008, The Duchess, 2008, and the miniseries The Pillars of the Earth, 2010. For the latter two, she was nominated for a British Independent Film Award and a Golden Globe Award, respectively. Atwell rose to prominence with her portrayal of Agent Peggy Carter in the Marvel Cinematic Universe film Captain America: The First Avenger, 2011, a role she reprised in later productions such as the ABC television series Agent Carter, 2015-2016. Atwell also starred in the fantasy film Cinderella, 2015, Christopher Robin, 2018, and Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway, 2021, and had a leading role in the action film Mission: Impossible, Dead Reckoning, 2023, and Mission: Impossible, The Final Reckoning, 2025. For her work on stage, Atwell has received Laurence Olivier Award nominations for her leading performances in The Pride, 2013, and Rosmersholm, 2020. Early life. Hayley Elizabeth Atwell was born on 5 April 1982 in London, the only child of Alison Kane, who is English, and Grant Atwell, an American photographer from Kansas City, Missouri, U.S. 345 Atwell has dual citizenship. 6. After attending Zion Manning Roman Catholic Girls' School in London, she took her A-levels at the London Oratory School. 7. Atwell took 2 years off to travel with her father and work for a casting director. She then enrolled at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama 8-9, where she trained for 3 years, graduating in 2005 with a bachelor's degree in acting. 1. Career. 2005 to 2009, early roles and breakthrough. Atwell made her professional stage debut in Prometheus Bound, 2005, at the Sound Theatre in London, portraying Io, a maiden exiled by Zeus. 10. Her role received positive reviews, with the British Theatre Guide praising her performance, writing that she makes us respond to the anguish without for a moment inviting a chuckle at her bandaged hands. 11. In 2006, she starred as the protagonist's wife, Bianca, in Women Beware Women at the Royal Shakespeare Company. 12. The Guardian praised Atwell for projecting the right seductive beauty. 13. Atwell appeared in 2 productions from 2007 to 2008 at the Royal National Theatre, both directed by Nicholas Heitner, Man of Mode and Major Barbara. 14. In the former, she portrayed Belinda, a Soho PR worker, and for the latter, she received an Ian Charleson commendation. 15. Atwell made the transition to film roles, with her first major role coming in Woody Allen's 2007 film Cassandra's Dream, playing stage actress Angela Stark. 16. In 2008, she also appeared in The Duchess, which earned her a Best Supporting Actress nomination at the British Independent Film Awards. 17. Later that year, Atwell appeared in the Miramax film Brideshead Revisited. 18. In 2009, Atwell made her West End debut as Catherine, the adopted niece in a troubled household, in Lindsay Posner's A View from the Bridge. 19. Variety praised her for having an ideal freshness and girlishness while still able to shift into uncontrolled rage. Her performance was later nominated for an Olivier Award. 2019. Later in the year, Atwell appeared as 415 in AMC Television's November 2009 miniseries The Prisoner, a remake of the 1967-68 series by the same name. 21-22. 2010 to 2016, established actress and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Atwell at the 66th British Academy Film Awards in 2013. In 2010, Atwell appeared in Channel 4's adaptation of William Boyd's Any Human Heart, and later that year, Ken Follett's miniseries Pillars of the Earth, for which she received a Golden Globe Award nomination. 23-24. In April 2010, Atwell was cast as the love interest in a then forthcoming film about Captain America as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. 25. She first starred as Peggy Carter in the 2011 American superhero film Captain America, The First Avenger. 26. MTV Network's NextMovie.com named her one of the breakout stars to watch for in 2011. 27. She also voiced Carter in the 2011 video game Captain America, Super Soldier. 28. Following a short break from the theater, Atwell later starred in Alexei K. Camel's 2011 production of The Faith Machine, directed by Jamie Lloyd at the Royal Court Theatre. 29-30. In 2013, Atwell starred in BBC Two's adaptation of William Boyd's espionage novel, Restless. 31-32. In February of that year, she also starred in Be Right Back, an episode in Charlie Brooker's critically acclaimed science fiction television series Black Mirror. 33. Atwell received critical praise, with critics deeming her performance one of the best of the series. 34-35. That same year, Atwell also worked with Alexei K. Campbell and Jamie Lloyd again in a revival of The Pride at Trafalgar Studios. 36. Her performance gained her a second Olivier Award nomination for Best Actress. 36. That year, she also appeared in the Marvel one-shot short film Agent Carter. 37. Atwell at the 2015 San Diego Comic-Con. Atwell returned to Marvel for the 2014 film Captain America, The Winter Soldier 38-39, and in the 2015 films Avengers, Age of Ultron and Ant-Man. As Carter, she appeared in 2 episodes of the ABC television show Agents of SHIELD, and as the lead role in Agent Carter, which aired from 2015 to 2016. 40. Agent Carter was cancelled by ABC on May 12, 2016. 41. She also provided Carter's voice in Lego Marvel's Avengers 42 and Avengers, Secret Wars. 43. In 2015, Atwell played Cinderella's mother in Disney's live-action adaptation of Cinderella directed by Kenneth Branagh. 44. In February 2016, Atwell was cast in the ABC series Conviction. 45. The series aired 13 episodes between October 2016 and January 2017. In May 2017, ABC announced it had been cancelled. 46-47. 2017, present, return to theatre and Mission Impossible. Atwell starred as Margaret Schlegel in BBC One's 2017-2018 miniseries, Howard's End, based on the classic E.M. Forster novel and adapted by playwright Kenneth Lonergan. 48. In 2018, she played Evelyn Robin, the wife of the titular character in Disney's live-action Winnie the Pooh film Christopher Robin, directed by Mark Forster and co-starring with Ewan McGregor. 49. Atwell returned to the stage in 2018 in Dry Powder at the Hampstead Theatre and later appeared in Josie Rourke's Measure for Measure at the Donmar Warehouse, opposite Jack Lowden. 50-51. The production gained critical acclaim, with the Daily Telegraph adding that it was beautifully staged and expertly performed. 52. As a result of positive reception, the play's run was extended. In 2019, Atwell starred opposite Tamara Lawrence in a 3-part BBC adaptation of Andrea Levy's novel The Long Song, about a slave on a sugar plantation in 19th-century Jamaica. 53-54-55. She also reprised the role of Peggy Carter in Avengers, Endgame. In September 2019, it was announced that Atwell will star in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 and Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, both directed by Christopher McQuarrie and scheduled to be theatrically released in the United States in 2023 and 2025, respectively. 56 In 2020, Atwell began hosting the podcast series True Spies. 57 In 2021, early reviews for Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway revealed Atwell as part of the film's voice cast as Mittens the cat. 58 In 2022, Atwell would again reprise her role as Peggy Carter/Captain Carter in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. That same year saw her partnered with the Picture House as part of the Picture House Ambassador program as part of her own program Hayley Selects. 59. In December 2024, it was reported that Atwell would reprise her role of Peggy Carter in Avengers: Doomsday, scheduled to be released on December 18, 2026. 60. Public image. Described as the queen of period drama by Emin Sainer, journalist writing for The Guardian, Atwell has been praised by directors for the professional example she sets and her work in period drama films and television shows. 61. Atwell received an Ian Charleson Commendation for her work in Major Barbara, 2009, and has received 3 Laurence Olivier Award nominations, first for her work in A View from the Bridge, 2009, 62 then in 2011 for her work in the revival of The Pride, and again in 2020 for her performance as Rebecca West in Rosmersholm. 63. Atwell was also nominated for a What's on Stage award for her role in The Pride. 64. Personal life. In 2010, Atwell lived in a flat in London. As of 2015, she had sporadic 6-month stints in Los Angeles to be close to the production of Agent Carter 65, although she still retained her personal home in London. Atwell began a relationship with music producer Ned Wolfgang Kelly in 2022. 66. In April 2023, they announced their engagement. 67. The couple are married. 68. Atwell gave birth to their child in 2024. 69. As of 2025, the family live in southwest London. 70. During the filming of Captain America: The First Avenger in 2010, Atwell took a 3-month course in art history and haiku at the Open University. 65. Atwell is a video game enthusiast. 71. In October 2017, at the time of the accusations against Harvey Weinstein, a story emerged that, during filming of Brideshead Revisited in 2007, Weinstein had told Atwell she looked like a fat pig on screen and should eat less. 72. Atwell later said that someone unconnected to Weinstein had suggested she lose weight to look more like a flapper. She also said that she did not believe that Weinstein was a sex addict, but a predator who should be punished for harassing women. 73. In a 2015 interview, Atwell discussed how her role as Peggy Carter influenced a then-recent tweet she made to her Twitter followers about having her image digitally altered on the cover of a German magazine. When one visitor to her page asked her, "Why are you so beautiful?" she retorted, "Why am I so photoshopped?" In the interview, Atwell stated, "It's important that young girls understand what Photoshop is. I do feel a certain amount of responsibility now that I'm playing Peggy." 74. In 2025, Atwell said she was almost 9 months pregnant while shooting one of the fight scenes in Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Atwell stated that she was offered to have a stunt double perform for her, but she replied with, "No, I've worked too hard, let me do it." Simon John Pegg, Annie Beckingham, born February 14, 1970, is an English actor, comedian, and screenwriter. He came to prominence in the UK as the co-creator of the Channel 4 sitcom Spaced, 1999 to 2001, directed by Edgar Wright. He and Wright co-wrote the films Shaun of the Dead, 2004, Hot Fuzz, 2007, and The World's End, 2013, known collectively as the Three Flavors Cornetto Trilogy, all of which saw Wright directing and Pegg starring alongside Nick Frost. Pegg and Frost also wrote and starred in the sci-fi comedy film Paul, 2011. Pegg is one of the few performers to have achieved what Radio Times calls the holy grail of nerddom, having played popular supporting characters in Doctor Who, 2005, Star Trek as Montgomery Scotty Scott, 2009 to 2016, and Star Wars, The Force Awakens, 2015. He starred as Benji Dunn in 6 Mission Impossible films, beginning with Mission Impossible 3, 2006, and ending with Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, 2025. He provided the voice of Buck in Ice Age: Dawn of the Dinosaurs, 2009, Ice Age: Collision Course, 2016, and The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, 2022. Early life. Simon John Pegg was born Simon John Beckingham 1-2 on February 14, 1973 in Brockworth, Gloucestershire 4-5. He is the son of Gillian Rosemary, née Smith, a former civil servant, and John Henry Beckingham, a jazz musician and keyboard salesman. 6. His parents divorced when he was 7, and he took on his stepfather's surname, Pegg, after his mother remarried. 1-2. His brother, Mike, who starred in the 2020 film The Host 7, still uses Beckingham as his surname. He attended Castle Hill Primary School 8, Brockworth Comprehensive Secondary School 8 and the King's School, Gloucester. 9. Pegg moved to Stratford-upon-Avon, Warwickshire when he was 16 and studied English literature and theatre at Stratford-upon-Avon College. 10. He graduated from the University of Bristol in 1991 with a BA in theatre, film, and television. 3. Titling his undergraduate thesis A Marxist Overview of Popular 1970s Cinema and Hegemonic Discourses. 2. While there, he performed as a member of a comedy troupe called Davidic and the Orphans of Jesus, alongside David Walliams, Dominic Diamond, and Jason Bradbury. 8. When I graduated from university where I studied theater, film, and television, I went into stand-up because comedy was something I enjoyed, but also because it offered me a certain autonomy that I wouldn't have if I was sitting and waiting for the phone to ring as an actor. Then, I drifted into comedy acting through doing stand-up, and that was something that I really enjoyed. But, it wasn't the only thing I ever wanted to do. There was a time when I was younger where I just wanted to be at the Royal Shakespeare Theatre. 11. Career. Pegg in New York City, July 2008. Pegg's early appearances in TV series and films include 6 Pairs of Pants, Meridian and Anglia, 1995, 12 13 14 15 Asylum, Faith in the Future, Big Train and Hippies. Between 1998 and 2004, Pegg was regularly featured on BBC Radio 4's The 99p Challenge. Pegg's other credits include appearances in the World War II mini-series Band of Brothers, the television comedies Black Books, Brass Eye, and I'm Alan Partridge, and the films The Parole Officer, 24-Hour Party People, and Guest House Paradiso. He played various roles during the tour of Steve Coogan's 1998 live stage show The Man Who Thinks He's It. 8. Pegg at a premiere for Star Trek in April 2009. In 1999, he created and co-wrote the Channel 4 sitcom Spaced with Jessica Stevenson. The series was directed by Edgar Wright, with whom Pegg and Stevenson had previously worked on Asylum, and Pegg wrote the character of Mike Watt specifically for his friend Nick Frost. 8. For his performance in the series, Pegg was nominated for a British Comedy Award as Best Male Comedy Newcomer. 16. The experience of making a spaced fantasy sequence featuring zombies led to Pegg and Wright co-writing the romantic zombie comedy film Shaun of the Dead, released in April 2004, in which Pegg also starred. 8. At George A. Romero's invitation, Pegg and Wright made cameo appearances in Romero's zombie film, Land of the Dead. 8. In 2004, Pegg guest starred in a spin-off of the television show Danger. 50,000 volts. Called Danger. 50,000 zombies, in which he played a zombie hunter named Dr. Fell. He played mutant bounty hunter Johnny Alpha, the strontium dog, in a series of Big Finish Productions audio plays based on the character from British comic 2080. Pegg also appeared in Big Finish Productions' Doctor Who audio story Invaders from Mars as Don Chaney, and appeared in the Doctor Who television series, playing the editor in the 2005 episode The Long Game. 17. He also narrated the first series of the making of documentary series Doctor Who Confidential. 18. Upon completion of Shaun of the Dead, Pegg was questioned as to whether he would be abandoning the British film industry for Hollywood, and he replied, "It's not like we're going to go away and do, I don't know, Mission Impossible 3, picking the title of an imaginary blockbuster." When the film Mission Impossible 3 was subsequently made, Pegg appeared in it as Benji Dunn, an IMF technician who assists Tom Cruise's character Ethan Hunt. 2. He has reprised the role in 5 further Mission Impossible sequel films: Ghost Protocol, 2011, 19 Rogue Nation, 2015, Fallout, 2018, Dead Reckoning Part 1, 2023, and The Final Reckoning, 2025. Edgar Wright, Pegg, and Nick Frost, pictured in 2013, collaborated on the Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy of British comedy films between 2004 and 2013. In 2006, he played Gus in Big Nothing alongside David Schwimmer. 20. The same year, Pegg and Wright completed their second film, Hot Fuzz, released in February 2007. The film is a police action movie homage and also stars Nick Frost, in which Pegg plays Nicholas Angel, a London policeman transferred to rural Sandford, a fictional village where grisly events take place. 21. In 2007, Pegg starred in The Good Night, directed by Jake Paltrow, and Run Fatboy Run, directed by David Schwimmer and co-starring Thandie Newton and Hank Azaria. In 2008, he wrote the dialogue for an English-language re-release of the cult 2006 animated Norwegian film, Free Jimmy. Pegg received screenwriting credit for this, and also voiced one of the main characters in the English-language version, which has an international range of actors including Woody Harrelson. Pegg co-wrote the script for a film called Paul, about 2 young men who encounter a comedic extraterrestrial alien during a road trip across the U.S. 22-23. The completed script appeared on the 2008 Brit List, a film industry compiled survey of the best unproduced British screenplays, inspired by the American Blacklist. 24. In those films and in Spaced, Pegg typically plays the leading hero while Frost plays the sidekick. However, Paul reverses this dynamic. 25. The film was released in 2011. 26. I've now done the ultimate nerd hat trick: Doctor Who, Star Wars and Star Trek. Pegg speaking on the BBC's The Graham Norton Show, January 2018. 27. Pegg played engineer Montgomery Scotty Scott in Star Trek, the 11th film in the Star Trek film series 28, released May 8, 2009. He reprised the role in Star Trek Into Darkness, 2013, and Star Trek Beyond, 2016, also co-writing the latter. 29-30. In 2010 he appeared as William Burke in Burke and Hare, a film directed by John Landis about 2 Ulstermen who were notorious murderers and body snatchers in early 19th century Edinburgh. His likeness was also used for the character of Wee Huey in the comic book series The Boys. While this was done without Pegg's permission, he quickly became a fan of the title, and even wrote the introduction to the first bound volume. 31. He voiced Reepikeep, the heroic mouse in Chronicles of Narnia, Voyage of the Dawn Treader. 32-33. Pegg and Wright completed the Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy, the first 2 films being Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, with their 2013 film The World's End. 34. In July 2014, Pegg appeared on stage with Monty Python during their live show Monty Python Live, Mostly, held at the O2 Arena, London. He was the special guest in their blackmail sketch. 35. In 2015 he appeared in Star Wars: The Force Awakens as Unkar Plutt, the junkyard dealer on Jakku. 36. Peg voiced Professor Phineas Nigellus Black in the 2023 video game Hogwarts Legacy. 37. In May 2023, Peg was interviewed by Lauren Laverne on the long-running BBC radio program Desert Island Discs. 38. Political views and activism. In 2014, Peg announced his support for the feminist campaign He for She. 39. In 2016, Peg spoke of having respect for Jeremy Corbyn and believing in Britain stronger in Europe's ideas in relation to the EU. 40. In 2020, Peg signed an open letter calling for the wealthiest in society to pay more tax in order to help fight inequality. 41. Peg has been an activist for Greenpeace since 2021, protesting overfishing and supporting their Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow campaign. 42-43. Personal life. Peg is an atheist. 44 and has sectoral heterochromia. 45. He married his longtime girlfriend, music industry publicist Maureen McCann, in Glasgow on July 23, 2005. 46-47. They reside in Essendon, Hertfordshire. 48. Nick Frost was the best man at his wedding. 49. The couple have one child together, born in 2009. 50-51. Peg is close friends with Coldplay lead singer Chris Martin, and appears as a violin-playing Elvis impersonator in the video for Coldplay's 2010 single Christmas Lights. 52. Along with Johnny Buckland, Peg is godfather to Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow's daughter Apple. 53. In return, Martin is godfather to Peg's daughter. 54. In a video interview with British GQ magazine in July 2018, Peg stated that his daughter has sung backing vocals for Coldplay on stage at the Glastonbury Festival. 55. Peg is also godfather to the son of actor and friend Martin Freeman. 56. Peg's parents and sister briefly appeared in Spaced, while his mother appeared in both Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. In a July 2018 interview with The Guardian, Peg spoke about his battle with depression and alcoholism, and how rehab helped him recover from the latter. He stated, "When I watch Mission Impossible 3, I can see where I was then, which was fairly lost, and unhappy, and an alcoholic. I'm not ashamed of what happened. And I think if anyone finds any relationship to it, then it might motivate them to get well. But I am not proud of it, either. I don't think it's cool, like I was Mr. Rock and Roll, Blackout, and all that shit. It wasn't, it was just terrible." 57. Peg checked into a rehab facility shortly before production of Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. He hid his recovery from the tabloids through court orders, although some journalists went so far as to call the clinic pretending to be his mother. Peg attended Alcoholics Anonymous meetings and has remained sober since. Pom Alexandra Clementieff, French, Pom Clementieff, born May 3, 1986, is a French actress. 1-2-3. She is best known for playing Mantis in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, since 2017. 4-5 and Paris in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, 2023, and its sequel Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, 2025. Early life. Pom Alexandra Clementieff was born on May 3, 1986, in Quebec City, Canada, to Korean mother Uri Park and Russian-French father Alexis Clementieff. 6-7. Her grandfather was Russian painter Eugene Clementieff. 8. Her parents chose the name Pom because it is similar in pronunciation to the Korean words for both spring and tiger. 9. Clementieff's father worked in Canada as consul for the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Clementieff moved to Kyoto, Japan, and then the Ivory Coast before returning to France, settling an hour away from Paris. 10. Clementieff's father died of cancer when she was 5, and her mother had schizophrenia and was unable to care for her children. 9. So Clementieff was raised by her paternal uncle and aunt. 11. Her uncle died on her 18th birthday, and her older brother Namu died by suicide 7 years later, on her 25th birthday. 912. Clementieff moved to Paris to study law to appease her aunt, after her uncle's death, but did not find it appealing. She also worked as a waitress and saleswoman in France. 9. She started acting at age 19 at the Cours Florent Drama School in Paris. A few months into her education, she won a theater competition and 2 years of free classes with the school's top teachers. 13. Career. 2007 to 2012, early career. Clementieff at the 2018 Brussels Comic Con. Clementieff's first professional acting job was the French independent film Après Louis, 2007, portraying the stepdaughter of the protagonist played by Catherine Deneuve. 11. Filming for her scenes took 3 days. In one scene, Clementieff was supposed to push someone down a set of stairs but accidentally fell down the stairs herself, and director Gail Morel kept that shot in the final film. Her first leading role was in Lou, 2009, a French film about a tribe of reindeer herders in the Siberian mountains. During filming, Clementieff stayed in a camp, hours from the nearest village, where temperatures dropped well below zero. She befriended nomads who lived there, worked with real wolves, rode reindeer, and swam with a horse in a lake. 13. 2013, present, breakthrough. Clementieff made her Hollywood debut in Spike Lee's Oldboy, 2013, a remake of the South Korean film of the same name. 13-14. She portrayed Hanbok, the bodyguard of the antagonist played by Charlotte Copley. A fan of the original film, Clementieff heard about the part through Roy Lee, a producer with the remake, and took boxing lessons after learning the role involved martial arts. After showcasing her boxing skills during her audition, Lee asked her to go home and come back wearing a more feminine outfit and makeup, like her character in the film. 11-9. She contributed some of her own clothes to the character's wardrobe. 11 and trained 3 hours a day for 2 months for an on-screen fight with star Josh Brolin. 11-14. Clementieff herself came up with the name Hanbok, Korean for happiness, after Lee asked her to research possible names for the character. 11-13. Clementieff moved to Los Angeles after Oldboy was filmed and began pursuing more Hollywood auditions. 11-13. She continued Taekwondo after the film, and has a purple belt as of the summer of 2014. 11. Her next acting role was the film Hacker's Game, 2015, in which she plays a hacker she compared to Lisbeth Salander from the novel The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Clementieff used her boxing skills again in the film, and due to the movie's low budget, she had to do her own makeup and choose her own wardrobe. 13. It was her idea to dye her hair purple for the role, to which the directors first objected but later acquiesced. 11. In 2017, she appeared in the romance drama Newness and the black comedy drama Ingrid Goes West. Clementieff received worldwide recognition when she joined the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Mantis, appearing in the films Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, 2017, Avengers, Infinity War, 2018, and Avengers, Endgame, 2019. 15. In 2019, she appeared in an episode of the Netflix science fiction anthology series Black Mirror and the thriller film Uncut Gems, and had voice roles in the animated supernatural comedy film The Addams Family. In 2020, she had a recurring role as Martell in the HBO science fiction series Westworld. In 2023, she reprised her role as Mantis in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and appeared as the enigmatic assassin Paris in Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1. She reprised her role in Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning in 2025. She played Mariana in the 2024 thriller The Killer's Game. Personal life. She learned English from watching American sitcoms. 16-17. Clementieff is a martial artist and holds a purple belt in Taekwondo. 18-19. She is also an avid skydiver. When filming for Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1 was completed, she was gifted skydiving lessons by Tom Cruise, after she expressed her desire to learn how to do so. During her May 22, 2025, appearance on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, she stated that she had done 233 jumps. Shea Whigham, born January 5, 1969, is an American actor best known for portraying Elias Eli Thompson in the drama series Boardwalk Empire. He also appeared in the first season of True Detective and the third season of Fargo and in numerous films, including Silver Linings Playbook, The Wolf of Wall Street, and Joker. Early life. Whigham was born in Tallahassee, Florida, the son of attorney Frank and school librarian Beth. The family moved to Lake Mary, Florida, when Whigham was 5 years old. 2-3 He attended Lake Mary High School. 4. Whigham attended Tyler Junior College in Tyler, Texas, and then transferred to the State University of New York at Purchase, New York, where he was part of a small acting program with only 31 students and a graduating class of 8 seniors. 5. Career. After graduating, Whigham co-founded the theater troupe The Rorschach Group with his college roommate Kirk Acevedo in New York City and served as an actor and artistic director with the troupe for 3 years. 6. Whigham appeared in one 1997 episode of the television series Ghost Stories before he received a starring role in the 2000 film Tigerland. 5. He went on to appear in the television film Submerged, R.U.S/H, and Paradise before acting in the 2003 film All the Real Girls. 2. Between 2004 and 2006, he appeared in the Japanese film Out of This World, the drama television series Medical Investigation, and the films Water, Man of the House, Faith of My Fathers, Lords of Dogtown, Psychic Driving, and South of Heaven. Whigham appeared in Pride and Glory and co-starred in the horror film Splinter, the thriller Blood Creek, and the science fiction film Radio Free Albemuth. 3. He had a regular leading role on the HBO series Boardwalk Empire as Elias Eli Thompson, Sheriff of Atlantic County, New Jersey, for the show's entire run. In 2014, he appeared in the HBO series True Detective as the disillusioned former minister Joel Theriot. 7. He appeared in 2 episodes of FX's Justified in 2015. Between 2012 and 2017, he had several movie roles, such as The Wolf of Wall Street, American Hustle, Silver Linings Playbook, Term Life, and Kong, Skull Island. In 2018, he appeared in the films Sicario, Day of the Soldado, First Man, and Bad Times at the El Royale. In 2019, he appeared in the Warner Bros./DC Comics psychological thriller Joker as GCPD Detective Burke. He also appeared in both seasons of HBO's Vice Principals as Ray Liptrap, appeared in Fargo and the miniseries Waco, and he starred in the television series Homecoming alongside Julia Roberts, for which he was nominated for a Critics' Choice Television Award for Best Supporting Actor in a Drama Series. In 2020, he was cast as Pete Strickland on HBO's reimagining of Perry Mason, a role for which he received attention for his mustache. 9. He has appeared in several projects alongside actors Michael Shannon and Paul Sparks, both of whom starred on Boardwalk Empire and Waco. Shannon and Whigham also appeared together in The Quarry, Take Shelter, Tigerland, and Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans. Mission: Impossible, The Final Reckoning is a 2025 American action spy film directed by Christopher McQuarrie from a screenplay he co-wrote with Eric Yendrezin. 7-8 It is the direct sequel to Mission: Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1, 2023, and the 8th installment in the Mission: Impossible film series. The film stars Tom Cruise in his final portrayal of Ethan Hunt 9 alongside an ensemble cast including Hayley Atwell, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Esai Morales, Pomkal Mentiev, Henry Czerny, and Angela Bassett. 10-11 In the film, Hunt and his IMF team continue their mission to prevent the entity, a rogue AI, from destroying all of humanity. In January 2019, Cruise announced that the 7th and 8th Mission: Impossible films would be shot back-to-back with McQuarrie co-writing and directing both films. Plans for the eighth film changed in February 2021, with returning and new cast and crew members being announced soon after, including Lorne Balfe, who composed the score for 2 other films in the series. Balfe was later replaced by Max Aruge and Alfie Godfrey. Principal photography began in March 2022 but was suspended in July 2023 due to the SAG-AFTRA strike. Production resumed in March 2024 and concluded in November, with filming locations including England, Malta, South Africa, and Norway. Originally subtitled Dead Reckoning.